Hello and welcome to a special edition of Howard's Horse Handicapping. This is your host, Howard Kravitz. In tonight's episode, I'd like to talk about horizontal betting, more specifically the ABC method. Many of you viewers and fans out there have been asking about the ABC method I talk about on my show, and I want to talk a little bit about how the ABC method works and how you can use it to improve your betting when it comes to pick threes, fours, fives, and sixes. We're not going to be talking about vertical betting today, which are exactas, trifectas, etc. Perhaps we will talk about developing good bets with vertical betting in a later time, but today's segment will be focusing on horizontal betting, of course, more specifically the ABC method. Before we get into the ABC method, I want to talk a little bit about ADWs, advanced deposit wagering platforms. In order to bet the ABC method, you do need a DRF Bets account. I think it's an excellent wagering platform. It's the one I use the most, mainly because I can use a program called DRF Ticketmaker, which is used to develop the ABC tickets that I like. I do have a Twin Spires account also, and a Naira account, and ExpressBet, and other things as well. ExpressBet, by the way, is the sister ADW to DRF, so you can simply switch back and forth between those two without any issues. The only problem with the DRF Bets account is you cannot bet on the Churchill Downs Incorporated tracks. So you cannot bet Churchill, you cannot bet the Fairgrounds and Arlington. Those are the main three tracks. There are some smaller tracks as well. So if you want to bet at those locations, you'd have to use another ADW other than DRF Bets. But of course, the big advantage is you can use the DRF Ticketmaker program, which has the ABC method on there. So what we're going to do tonight is I'm going to talk a little bit about what the ABC method is, and then we are going to use my winning pick 5 ticket from this past Friday, April 30th, and show you how much of a difference it makes when you use the ABC method as opposed to just a straight what's called caveman ticket, where you're not weighing your opinions any differently. So the first thing we're going to do is let's look at what the ABC concept actually is. So the ABC method, and you can go ahead and read everything here. I'm not going to read all this verbatim, but Steve Christ, who used to work for the Daily Racing Form, extremely good handicapper, a bettor, author, wrote a book called Exotic Betting many, many years ago, where he talked about his ABC method. And it's a method which involves multiple tickets, which is the great thing about using DRF Ticketmaker, because then you don't have to punch in, 15, 20 tickets. You can just automatically bet it through your DRF Bets account. There are A runners, B runners, and C runners, where your A runners are not only your most likely winners, but as you can see at the bottom of the second paragraph, value must be taken into account. So it's not always going to be the lower odds horses as A's. In fact, the best case scenario is when you get a price or a longer shot in as A's. That's when you really can blow up your ticket in a good way. And the B's are your secondary horses, and your C's are the most likely winners. Now, those might be long shots, or they could be 2-to-1 shots in the morning line. It really depends on how you feel about the horse. The ABC ticket will maximize your opinion within your budget, allocating more money to your top choices, which are your A's. So, really, that's the best way that you want to go. Most professional players use the ABC method. They do not use a caveman ticket, which is just a straight ticket that does not weigh your opinions at all. And I also use the ABC method mainly. Now, just like any type of wager, there are some pros and cons that I want to discuss. So, what are the benefits? The benefits are Of course, your strongest opinions are weighed most heavily, gives you a better chance to win when you're correct. It allows you to play more horses at a cheaper price, and you have a better opportunity to hit the horizontal bet for more than the minimum increment. Hopefully, you can hit it for 2, 3, or 4 times, depending on how you put your bet together. The negatives are it's going to take a little bit longer for you to create your ticket because you have to decide between A's, B's, and C's. Whereas the caveman ticket, you just have to decide whether to use a horse at all or not. It is going to create multiple tickets. That's going to have to be punched in manually if you don't have a DRF Bets account. So if you have Twin Spires or something else, then you're going to have to spend 5-6 minutes typing in anywhere from 7, 8, 9 to 15, 16, 20 tickets, which obviously is more tedious. And also, you're probably more tempted to add a horse that you shouldn't because it is a lot cheaper. Just to add some seahorses, as I'm going to show you, is really not very expensive as opposed to a caveman ticket where it's going to cost you a hell of a lot more to add horses. So that's something that you're going to have to consider. So we're going to look at my Kentucky Oaks late pick 5 on April 30th, uh, which ended up hitting for $3,300. I know many of you who watch this show and are fans also had a version, either the pick 5 or the pick 4, because you used one of the long shots that I recommended. I'm assuming some of you maybe have used the ABC method before. However, I'm sure many of you also used the K-Man method. So what we're going to do here is I'm going to set up my screen here so you can see what it's going to look like on your end. Now, again, you have to have a DRF Bets account in order to use this DRF Ticketmaker program. So if you do not have a DRF Bets account, I personally recommend you get one. I do not work for DRF. I'm not getting any money for advertising this, but I highly recommend that you do it. I think it's well worth the money. So what you're going to do is you're going to go to this screen here. You'll get DRF Bets, and at the top you can see here, this is after you've logged in. You see it says HK there at the top. I've already logged in. And you're going to hit that DRF Ticketmaker button. When you do that, you'll get a screen. Sorry, it's not going to look like this. Let me backtrack a second. It's actually not going to look like that. It's going to look like this. So you will see a screen that looks like this. And you can see you're going to select your bet, and you can bet vertical wagering here, but that's not the ABC method. The ABC method would be pick 3s to pick 6s. I'm going to go ahead and use the pick 5 because that's what I bet on Oaks Day. Now, notice it gives you date possibilities and it says, sorry, pick 5s are not available for today's races. So you cannot bet through Ticketmaker other than the day of your wager. So I'm going to pick tomorrow the 4th, and I'm going to pick Indiana Grand, for example. And when you do the race number, if there's more than one number, this is the number of the race that it starts in. So this wager starts in pick 5, or excuse me, the 5th race. So I'll pick the 5th race. And then when you press next, if you signed in and you have an account, you will get a page that looks like this. You'll see Indiana Grand. There's the pick 5, starts the 5th race. It'll give you how much time is left. This says 18 hours because, again, I'm filming this on Monday night, May 3rd, and this sequence starts May 4th on Tuesday. Here's the race numbers. Now, you see set max budget. I would always recommend you put in a small number. I'm going to talk about this later, but I would put in a small number there no matter what your budget is. Now, you need to ignore the names of these horses and ignore the numbers because I'm going to be describing my Kentucky Oaks bet that occurred a few days ago. So the numbers are not going to correspond, but the size of the ticket is going to correspond. So here was the ticket that I used for my pick 5. It says $232 at the top, is actually $231. I went $1 over my budget. And again, that is a big ticket. However, on Oaks Day and these big days, I'm willing to spend more. Now, you can easily hit these tickets for $32, $48. I shouldn't say easily, but you do not have to have a big budget to win a horizontal bet. It helps to have more, but you certainly can play these horizontal bets and this ABC method on a smaller budget. But you can see in the first leg, which was race 7 on Oaks Day, I only had 1A and 1B. In race 8, I had 2 A's, a B, and 2 C's. Race 9, there's the 7 obligatory, who won at 16-1. That really blew up the pick 5 in a good way for us. I had 3 B's and 3 C's. You can see I spread out more towards the end of this ticket here. So I'm going to go ahead and punch some numbers in. Again, the numbers that you saw on that black screen are not going to correspond to the numbers I'm putting in, but the size will be the same because of the number of A's, B's, and C's. So in the first leg, I had 1A and 1B, and just simply press the button, and the chiclets there light up. The second leg, I had 2 A's, 1 B, and 2 C's. The third leg, I had 3 A's. Excuse me, I had 2 A's, 2 B's, 3 B's, and 3 C's. The fourth leg, I had 3 different A's. I had 2 B's and 2 C's. Again, my A's were not 1, 2, 3. I'm just doing this for simple purposes here. Again, these numbers don't correspond to the actual bet. And the last race, the Kentucky Oaks, I had 2 A's, 2 B's, and you see on the screen on the right there, you can see it's starting to generate my tickets, and 4 C's. And when you go down to the bottom, you can see the ticket is $231. That's my total wager. Now, this bet, this pick 5, I have, it says 21 on the bottom, but let me talk about this second section. I never play all A's and all B's. To me, that's more like a caveman ticket, so I just completely skip this second section. I recommend you do the same. If you bet all the different scenarios, and I'm going to talk about those in a minute, you have a $231 ticket. Again, yes, that's an expensive ticket, but again, it was a big day, and it was pretty much the only play that I had on that day. You obviously don't have to play that big a ticket. Now, let me put myself back on full screen so I can explain something. If you decide to use a caveman ticket, just a straight ticket, not weighing in your opinions, and you wanted to use all the horses, it would have been, let me go back to my ABC ticket here. So if I use this ticket, it would have been 2-6. A caveman ticket would have been 2-6 with 1, 2, 3, 6, 7, with 2, 3, 5, 6, 7, 9, 10, 11, etc. With, let's see, 7 horses in the 10th race, and then with another 8 horses in the Oaks. If I would have done that ticket right there, I don't know if you had a chance to see that, sorry. Let me go back. I think I made a mistake there, sorry. So again, if I went 2-6 with 1, 2, 3, 6, 7, with 2, 3, 5, 6, 7, 9, 10, 11, with 2, 3, 5, etc. It's using all the horses equally. If I used all the horses equally that you just saw right there on the screen, then the ticket would have been $2,240. That's right. It would have been $2,240 if I had decided, and again, let me show you what that would have been like. If I decided to use all of these horses, again, 2-6 with 1, 2, 3, 6, 7, with 2, 3, 5, 6, 7, 9, 10, 11, etc. If I used all those horses equally, my ticket would be huge. Again, the ticket would have cost $2,240 as compared to $231. Now, do you have a better chance to win with this ticket with a caveman ticket? Of course you do. You're using all the horses equally. But who's going to play a $2,200 ticket? That's way, way, way out of my range unless I got a bunch of people together and put in several $100s and just did it that way, which you can, but then you only have, 1/10 or 1/6 of the ticket or whatever you decide to do. So you're obviously best off. You can save a heck of a lot of money using the ABC Ticketmaker program. So let me go back to the ABC Ticketmaker. So there's what it looks like. Now, again, this is 20 tickets. You'd have to type in manually if you don't have DRF Bets. If you do have DRF Bets, what happens is on the day of the race, and you don't see it here, but somewhere around here you will see a green button that'll say bet now or something to that extent. If you press that green button, it will automatically, you'll see green check marks going down this column, and it'll automatically just bet all these tickets for you. You'll bet 20 tickets in literally about 15 seconds. Boom, 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 just bets it. And then you automatically have those bets into your account. It's fantastic. Of course, you can go back and delete your tickets, etc., if you'd like to. Now, let me talk about the actual ABC ticket itself. There are four scenarios in which you can win, where you can win the ABC ticket. I'm going to show you right now. You can win with all your A's. You can again, we're skipping the second section here. You can win if 4 A's and 1 B comes in. You can win if 3 A's and 2 B's come in. Or you can win with 4 A's and 1 C coming in. In general, you cannot have a B and a C horse. If a C horse wins, then you have to have all A's and everything else. If a B horse wins, then you've eliminated all of your C choices going forward. So let's say you've handicapped and you like your handicapping, but you don't want to bet a $231 ticket. Fine, no problem. You can see that there's blue check marks. If I go ahead and just deselect these other scenarios and just play my all A's, $12. That's all it is, $12. And what you can do is, if you really want to bet an all A ticket, what you can do is you can come up here and you can delete the 50 cents and press like $2, for example. And you can just play a straight $2 ticket of all of your A's for $48. I don't recommend you do it, but you certainly could do that if you chose. Put back 50 cents there. Okay? Let's say you want to play all A's, but you also would like to play all A's with 1B. Great. Click on that. And now you've included all of your A's with 1B, and now that's a $68 ticket. Well, let's say you like a lot more combinations. Let's say it's a tough sequence and you like to have a chance of winning with 3 A's and 2 B's. Fine, you can click on that. Now you've added more tickets. Now it's $169, etc., etc. And if I want to play the full sequence, it'd be $231. What I recommend you do is, I personally, and you might hear different answers from different people, I personally recommend that you leave all of these check marks checked. I would not deselect them. I would use all the possibilities if I were you. What I would do is I would try to pare down within my A, B's, and C's. Now let me show you what happens. Moving A's, now you have to have at least one A in every race. Moving an A to a B is the biggest change monetarily in your bet. If I change this 2 horse here in race 6 to a B horse, I don't know if you noticed, but if you look at notice it changes all the tickets for you automatically. That $231 ticket now goes down to $168 just by moving one A over to a B. That's a huge change. If you move a B to a C, for example, it's not going to change as much. Now it goes down to $206. Again, it depends on your ticket construction and many other things. But adding C's are no big deal. Look, if I add look what happens. If I just add a whole bunch of C's here, I just add a whole bunch of C's. It only went up to 261, and I just added like 4 horses. But again, I added C horses. So when you add C horses in general, it's not going to change your ticket very much. So what I would do is I would say, okay, let me move this horse to a B. Let me move, I got 3 horses. Let me move that horse to a B. And now you're down to 135. So again, I would recommend that that is the way that you go. I would change A's to B's. It will make your ticket a lot smaller. But then again, A's are your most precious commodity, and you really want to try to keep as many A's as possible. It's a little bit risky. You also, of course, want as many B's as possible. I'm just flipping back to what the original ticket was here. If you give me a moment to double check. All right, so there's our 231. Now, what I want to do is I want to talk about the actual bet that happened. So here was the bet on Oak State. And I want to talk about this because it was very interesting what happened on this day. So the sixth horse, who was a huge favorite that day, the name of that horse was Aunt Pearl. If you are familiar with Kentucky Oaks weekend, that horse was like 2-5. She lost. She was upset. Fortunately for me, she was upset by the 2 horse. So although a B won the first leg, and because this B won, all these C horses, the 6-7, the 2-5-9, the 5-11, they were all gone. I did not have them anymore. But I beat a huge chalk, so I didn't necessarily mind that. So that's 1B. Okay. In the next race, the 2 horse won. That was She Shares the Devil. So now I have a B and an A. And then the 9th race is when Obligatory won, blew up the pick 5. This was huge. Not only was she 16-1, but she was also an A horse. So right now I've got 2 B's and an A. So now I'm live to 2, 3, 8, 9, 10. I'm still live to my B horses. And one of those B horses won. Fast Boat won a turf sprint. So now I've got B, A, B. That's 2 A's and 2 B's, right? So now my C's are gone and my B's are gone, unfortunately, in the last race, the Kentucky Oaks. But I am still live, and I was still live to Travel Column and Malathot, the 10 horse. Of course, the 10 horse won Malathot, and I hit my pick 5. So again, you want A horses to win, obviously. Those are going to be the horses that are going to pay you the most. You definitely want A horses to win, but ideally your A horses are not just big chalks, otherwise just not going to pay very much. You want to find good value, horses that you feel like can definitely win, but are not necessarily the chalks. There's nothing wrong with putting chalks in as your top A horses, but you don't want all of your A's to be all chalks. That just does not make a lot of sense, really. The other thing I will just tell you quickly about the ABC method is the general thought is if there is a big favorite, you either should have them as an A or a C. If you put a big favorite in as a B, that means you're a bit wishy-washy on the horse. You're not sure if he's the top choice or she, and you're better off moving that horse down to a C and just taking a chance because B horses are definitely more expensive than C horses. So if you don't really love the favorite, have some guts, put that horse in as a C, and just go for it. Now, again, this segment tonight is not about how you handicap the races. This is about after you've handicapped, putting together your ticket construction. And I've learned over the years, I was not very good with my ticket construction when I first started, 20, 25 years ago. The ABC method came out. I learned how to organize my bets a lot more, most recently through the ABC method in the last, I don't know, about 10 or 15 years for me, and has helped my betting immensely. I've had many nice 5-digit, 4-digit scores in pick 4s and especially pick 5s and even a pick 6 once in a while using this ABC method. It saves you a lot of money. It is much better, in my opinion, than a caveman ticket because caveman tickets are just extremely expensive. And again, you should be weighing your opinions. Now, if you're a new player, I highly recommend, you've never done this before, start with pick 3s. Start with something much easier. You can use the ABC method and start with pick 3s and do that. Now, one other thing I just want to show you very quickly here on the wagering menu here, let me just get it set up, is when you go to your ABC ticket, again, you can use different increments. Let's say I really like my A and I want to press up. Let's say I want to play the A for $2. You can do that. Now I can hit my A's 4 times. Let's say the next segment, you want to always make it lower as you go along. The A1B, I'll try to hit that for $1. of course, it's going to increase the amount of your ticket. But if you're playing a smaller ticket, you might want to try to hit your pick 3, 4, 5, especially the pick 3s and 4s, more than once. And that's what you do here by changing those increments instead of 50 cents to $1 and whatnot. So again, try the ABC method. I highly recommend it. Again, you do have to have a DRF Bets account. And then on big days, like at Churchill, for example, um, if you have a DRF Bets account and you don't have, or excuse me, if you DRF Bets account and you want to use Ticketmaker, unfortunately, what you have to do is print those out or write the tickets down and then go to Twin Spires and manually type in the tickets on your computer, laptop, whatever, iPad, whatever you're using. That does take longer. Unfortunately, some of these advanced deposit wagering platforms are sort of in mini arguments with other tracks, just like everything else. And not every ADW will take different tracks, etc. So that's a little bit annoying. But again, I hope you enjoyed that segment about the ABC method and DRF Ticketmaker. Highly recommend you try it the next time you play a horizontal bet. I appreciate everyone for watching this segment, and good luck with your horizontal wagers. Take care and good night.